Well, let's flip it over. What issues would really piss off liberals? I mean, I know this should be a question for me, but I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like I've been saying for a while, it's not going to be abortion.
Obviously, wasn't in this election.
Democrats are no longer anti-war, so they're not going to care if Trump fails to deliver on anti-war stuff. I mean, what do Democrats really care about, except just the fact that he's obnoxious?
Yeah, they care that he's an asshole, which he is.
Which he is.
But he's an asshole like a fox.
Yeah.
He really has an intrinsic ability which he trusts, which is really interesting for a politician to trust their instincts as much as he trusts his, because he is 98% of the time he's right in terms of what is appealing. And the 2% which he gets wrong, he runs away from very quickly.
Yeah.
And very efficiently. He will go down in history as one of the most interesting politicians in the history of this country.
There is absolutely no question.
So what do the Dems need to do? I think you need to do things like healthcare and auto insurance is going to go through the roof.
Those are both things. Yeah, those are both things that the Republicans.
But give me a fucking solution, by the way.
They appear to have dropped the ball on that.
Well, exactly. What did Kamala Harris say about healthcare besides, we got to get the stuff and do, I mean, Democrats have to step up and do, everyone's on Medicare. Medicare is, to my mind, the easiest, straightest line to everyone finally getting the kind of health protection, the kind of healthcare they want and the health insurance they deserve. It's not, you're going to have some pushback, especially, you've got a health insurance industry that makes tens of billions of dollars and isn't afraid to spend that on politics. But you could, it seems to me, nobody is happy with their health insurance. Ted, let me ask you something. You're under 65. You happy with your health insurance, buddy?
Fuck no.
And that is the response from almost everybody in the United States. We tried employer provided healthcare. It was great for a while. My dad's health insurance when I was growing up was phenomenal. When I first got into the newspaper business, the insurance was golden. You never had to pay a copay. That was insane. In the early 90s, I was able to have my wife and 2 kids, and we didn't have health insurance. We could pay cash for our what health we needed. And, we had some health issues with some of my kids, and we could afford it. It didn't break the bank. Can't do that now. And that's not a singular story. You have to find where's the anger? Where are people upset? What's not working? If inflation continues to rage 2 years from now, Ted, Democrats, that's their point of entree. They can say, we're going to do this. I know you can roll your eyes because they won't fucking do it because they don't.
I was going to say, I'm rolling my eyes because I'm not sure that they can capitalize on anything like that.
No, I mean,
they would have to have a credible. They'd have to have a credible messaging. I mean, look, Joe Biden did have good messaging on inflation. He just didn't know how to use it. I mean, it's like the fact is, he did bring inflation down from 9 to about 2%. That's pretty good. But obviously prices remained high. He just didn't know how to fuking talk to people about that or anything at all.
And Harris, well, he's senile. Okay, let's just say he's addled. He couldn't. But Kamala Harris supposedly still has some cognitive abilities, but she was not able to step forward and say, you can't say like George H.W. Bush did in 92, inflation almost gone, not going to be around, not going to do it. You can't say that because if I go get a cup of coffee at Starbucks, it still costs me $5, $6, $7.
And those prices are never going back down ever again. Nor should they, because deflation is really bad. If you didn't like inflation, you will definitely not like deflation.
Right? I think there has to be some level of deflation. I'm not sure how you do it other than you have production. Well, I think you have production and you increase and facilitate supply chains.
You can get prices down on certain things, right? Like, I mean, TVs. I mean, my dad bought a little shitty Sony Trinitron back in the early 70s, and I think he paid $400 for it. Now, that's I don't know, $2,500 now. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a lot of money. You know, and you can today buy a really excellent flat screen TV, smart TV for $200. So, you know, it's, you know, $300, you know,
there are, and I think particularly the bread and butter things, literally, those are the issues.
Well, I mean, the thing is, okay, so the problem is we have major food supply issues that both parties don't seem to have grokked, right? I mean, like, first of all, climate change is going to have a dramatic impact on agriculture. I mean, we're going to have more blights. We're going to have more crop failures. We're going to have more freaky storms that like freeze all the oranges in Florida and shit like that. And then, you know, and then droughts in the West that fuck up the breadbasket that is California and the San Fernando Valley and all that, the Central Valley. We're going to have all sorts of food supply issues that are just going to get worse and worse. And that's going to push food prices higher. You know, nationally and domestically and globally. And that's been a problem for a while, right? Even long before Joe Biden came along or Donald Trump the first time. It's like, I don't get the sense that the political class seems to really have baked in the fact that, you know, there's probably going to be some sectors of the economy that need to be semi-nationalized. And I would say food production is one of them.
I can't see that's already partially, you know, it's certainly heavily subsidized.
That's
but also
an indirect form of nationalization.
You also missed one topic, and that's water.
Right. Well,
that's a huge issue in California. The Imperial Valley doesn't have it. Mm-hmm. So where are they going to get it? So going forward, the Democrats, can they strike back? They've got to put together a cohesive plan that makes sense to the American people, right? So make it simple, make it direct.
The answer is no.
Yeah. Well, and I come back to, I mean, I didn't finish the thought. Kamala Harris, inflation isn't that bad. Fuck you. I go to the store, I get one bag of groceries, it's $100. Okay.
Well, the issue wasn't inflation. The issue is high prices.
Yeah. Well, you can't, and you have to address it in a serious, compassionate way. Mm-hmm. You know, well, gee, I can go to Whole Foods and I don't have any trouble, you know, having the organic arugula. I mean, why should you? Well, okay, that's not addressing the people who this is affecting. And my wife, who, you know, is not apolitical, but she is, you know, she goes to the store, she lives in the real world, and she comes back and says, "Oh my God, these prices are insane." Well, who do you blame? You know, so if Trump can bring those prices down slightly, he's going to have a great midterm. And then it's game over for the United States and democracy. It seems to me the Democratic Party will cease to be a factor for a generation.